I was walking up an escalator that was going down. There was a lot of activity, but I remained in the same place. I have not earned a single dollar in the past year. I got my first full-time corporate job at the age of 26 because I switched majors and spent 7 years at university. Because for some reason, when you're 18 years old and you know nothing about yourself and you know nothing about the world, society says, hey, now would be a great time to make some big decisions that will have lifelong consequences. So I got my first full-time job, and I remember sitting in the office, and during my downtime, I had made these simple calculations on Excel, trying to figure out how quickly I could stop working. I tried to figure out how long it would take for me to save $500,000. I didn't know much about financial planning, but I just figured $500,000 would be a good number to hit. So I was planning my exit from day one. I was quiet quitting before it was cool. So every day I put on my stupid dress shirt and those stupid dress pants and got on that stupid train to get to my stupid job. There's nothing that can destroy your sense of self and individuality more completely than struggling through crowds to get to your morning train that takes you to work. There's something about being packed in with hundreds, if not thousands, of other people, all on the same train that takes you to work. Or perhaps you drive, in which case you are stuck in an endless procession of slow-moving traffic and their sleep-deprived drivers. At these moments, your individuality is completely and utterly destroyed. You become just another soldier in this massive army of workers who are going to feed this colossal beast that is the economy. And you realize just how painfully ordinary you are. And so I would sit at my stupid desk and stare at that stupid screen. You know that voice in your head that tells you that you'll have a great and joyous life full of promise and possibility? That voice grew softer every year until one day there was only silence. But every 2 weeks I was paid. I was being paid. I was being paid to walk away from my dreams, from who I really wanted to be. So how did I get here? It all started in my childhood. It started in school. I hated school. I hated math, and I hated working with numbers. And yet that was the only avenue available to me to get a decent job that paid decent money. So I studied subjects I had no interest in to get a job I hated with the goal of living a life that was utterly unfulfilling. All my life, I was swimming upstream. I was swimming against the current. I was walking up that down escalator. I would see other people living their lives full of accomplishment and adventure, and I realized that I was just an NPC. I was just this extra on this grand movie set, just some semi-sentient viscera populating the background and just taking up space. And once I plateaued at my first job, I decided to get an MBA to differentiate myself, to have my resume stand out. I was simply digging a deeper hole. I got a $20,000 raise post MBA. Now, that might seem very modest, but that was deliberate. I wasn't really looking to get the more demanding jobs. I wasn't looking for the investment banking type of roles. I just wanted a nice, cushy job that I could do and not really kill myself over it. And so there I was, working away for a couple of years, and then something weird happened. With historically low unemployment in mid-2022, I started looking for jobs. And I kid you not, I was getting interviews every week, as opposed to a handful of interviews total for the entire year, which is what I was used to. And these were all interviews for very senior roles that were very well paying. And so I was able to secure a senior role with a major bank and I got a 50% raise. And I thought, here we go. This is great. This is what I've been working for all my career. This is why I went to university. This is why I did my MBA. I finally have the job I really want. But when you play the wrong game, you win the wrong prize. When you've been swimming upstream and fighting uphill and going against everything that you are, it's always going to cost you more to make that money. Someone else who finds your type of job simply more tolerable than you do is going to be more successful at that job, even if that person is not as smart as you are. And frankly, for me, the cost was just too much. When companies pay you a lot, they want to make sure that they squeeze every ounce of productivity out of you. They'll make sure you're thinking about work even when you're not working. When you're with family and friends, you're going to be stressing about work. They will make you bleed for that job. I couldn't even enjoy my vacations. I don't even understand this whole idea of vacations. If you have a job that you hate and you go on vacation, you get this brief, finite glimpse of this amazing life that you can't have. And then you end up coming back to your shitty job and your shitty life. So I don't even understand this idea of taking vacations. It's simply this weird pause in your crappy life. And for me, when I'd come back from vacation, it would oftentimes be worse because I'd come back to hundreds of emails. So I wasn't really taking a vacation from work. I was simply taking some time off and deferring my work. So one day I decided I just didn't want to do it anymore. And it really helped that I got these senior roles because it showed me that no matter how high I got, it would only get worse. I realized after having climbed this mountain that there would always be another one to climb, one that was steeper and higher, and one where the air was thinner. This suffocating march towards progress as society had defined it was something I opted out of. They tell you to get a fancy car and a nice house and all this other stuff, but once you get all of that, you have to keep working to maintain all of those things. And there's always something else on the horizon. There's no stopping. You cannot stop, because if you stop, you're going backwards. It is impossible to simply be still, like going up that down escalator. It is activity without accomplishment. But more importantly, I felt like I was always drifting further and further away from what I really wanted to do and from who I really was. Ever since I was a kid, I loved to read books and I always wanted to write and make movies. I absolutely love movies, and I had buried that part of myself away, hoping to retrieve it someday in the future. Until my dreams became something abstract, like some ill-defined and distant promise seen through frosted glass. But there's one thing I did do, and that was save. I saved, and I saved aggressively. Between the ages of 23 and 35, I did not leave North America. I did not travel. I did not buy any fancy clothes. And I kept meticulous records of all my expenses. And after a decade of frugality, I have saved enough that I won't be tearing my hair out if I don't work for a few years. Money has given me options. There is a weird power, a sense of serenity that you get knowing that you'll be fine without a job for a few years. Knowing that you can step off that escalator. If not forever, then at least for a while. I never did get close to that $500,000 target, but I realized that I didn't need to. I finally had the luxury to stop and be still. And so here I am in my late 30s, unemployed and happy. I feel a sense of peace. I have a clear purpose. I want to make these YouTube videos and share my thoughts. And I might have to go back to work in a year or two, who knows? But I'm hoping if I do, it will be different. At least now I know that I can make these videos and do something I enjoy. And I'm glad I got to reconnect with my passions. At least I won't regret never having tried. And now I wake up every day, I work out, I work on scripts, and I work on video ideas, or maybe I'll shoot and maybe I'll edit. And I get to go to stores when it's empty, and I feel like the whole world exists just for me. It's an amazing feeling. No suits, no office, no commute. So if you find yourself on this escalator, earning just enough to pay the bills, just so you can exist and be conscious enough so you can keep working, so you can keep making money, so you can keep paying the bills, you get the idea. Trust me, you will wake up one day and ask yourself, where did it all go? And to any young people out there who feel stuck, take it from me, just save your damn money. Please, please stop buying useless shit. And because I saved, I'm not lost. In fact, I have a sense of clarity that I've never had before in my life. I feel like I'm making my way back to the man I always wanted to be.